It's time now for Media Watch, and we're joined by Diptyque Laurent. Hi, Diptyque.
Hi, James.
You've been looking at the story, really, of the day here in France, the death of an icon, Simone Veil. Tell us more.
That's right. The death of a feminist icon, we might even add. Twitter has been flooded with tributes, condolences, messages of admiration, and a lot of gratitude from people saying thank you for what you've done, Simone Veil, thank you for what you've contributed. She was, of course, a Holocaust survivor and pioneer of women's reproductive rights in France, and she died in Paris this Friday. There's one video that's been making the rounds, James. It's a video of her at a campaign rally in 1979, a rally that was interrupted by far-right members from the Front National, the National Front Party. Let's take a look at how she responded.
Wow, that's strength of character, and I guess if you survive Auschwitz camps, it's going to forge a certain strength of character, right?
Exactly. She had thick skin, and she wasn't afraid to defend herself where necessary. I just want to show you that this tweet that comes off the back of that video. She was a fighter, a woman full of courage, who upturned the course of history and who will be sadly missed. And this user obviously alluding to her thick skin and determination that helped push groundbreaking reforms. There's a really nice image here of a woman's uterus. Before Simone Veil, our uterus belonged to the government, the state, the church, our parents, our husbands, but that was before Simone Veil. Thank you, Simone Veil. So you see the kind of messages that are coming through. The New York Times has written an interesting article reminding us that while abortion was her trailblazing topic, I guess, she also drafted legislation expanding the rights of prisoners, people with disabilities, disadvantaged children. So it wasn't just about women. And for that reason, there's a movement online for Simone Veil to be buried at the Panthéon, an iconic and selective Paris mausoleum for for those who've really contributed at a high level to society. Ultimately, it's Emmanuel Macron who makes that decision. But if she does make it there, she'll be only the 5th woman to make it into the Panthéon. As this person says, France owes her at least
if anyone deserves it, I think she certainly does. Now, moving to the US, Diptyque, where two journalists from a political news TV show are fighting back against a pretty extraordinary Twitter attack by Donald Trump.
Pretty extraordinary and seemingly unprovoked. It was a very weird fight, if you like. It almost felt like Trump was just lashing out at journalists for no particular reason. Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough are hosts from MSNBC, a show called Morning Joe, a political news show, and they say they've been subjected to a year-long campaign of Twitter insults from Donald Trump. He, of course, is waged internet war on the media that he considers his enemies, the liberal media, as he likes to say. Here are the two tweets in question. He said, watched the low-rated Morning Joe for first time, fake news, bad show. Then he launches this extraordinary attack on Mika, the journalist, saying she was bleeding badly from a facelift during a New Year's Eve event or something like that. So
it's just such violent language.
It's violent.
Such a horrible image that which is clearly can't have been true.
That's right. And
in terms of what he was describing.
I mean, this is the president of the United States. So today they've written a very angry article in the Washington Post, essentially saying that Donald Trump is unwell. There's something wrong with him. They accuse the president of blackmailing them by essentially saying that he threatened to release a negative article from a tabloid about them because the two hosts are actually in a couple. They're in a relationship. Anyway, they said the president is not well, and that what's more significant is that he continues his mistreatment of women. Let's just end with this tweet from one user who says it's a White House of thugs led by the thug-in-chief.
Well, certainly there's been criticism across the board from both sides of the aisles, as they say. Now, finally, another controversy, Diptyque, albeit smaller, involving a radio station and Annie Lennox, the Grammy Award-winning singer of the Eurythmics.
That's right. The Independent reports that 4-time Grammy winner Annie Lennox shared an email that she received from a radio station recently in which an employee told her that the station was interested in sampling her music in the hopes of, quote-unquote, discovering her as part of their new artist lineup. They asked her to, here's the email in question, they asked her to send an MP3 of her latest single, and I quote, "The best part is, if they really like your music, they'll cover your marketing expenses." So she shared this on her Facebook saying, "I think I'm in with a chance." A sarcastic message, but seriously, somebody at that radio station needs to brush up on their music knowledge.
Why is that person working at a music station if they don't know Annie Lennox? I don't understand. Anyway, thanks for that, Dipti.